Howdy, 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 my name's Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. In the last episode, we stopped off at SCP-330. We haven't read it yet, but I already know what it is, and I only know what it is because I watched Markiplier play the Unity version of the SCP Containment Breach game the other day, and he came across this SCP in there. I'm not going to say nothing, we're just going to read it, because it'll probably be fun, and I'm looking at this, and I knew that there was God, and I knew that there was Cain and Abel. I did not know that there was an SCP called Lilith. So I'm going to see if we can get there. But first we got to get through, take only two, Tumbles, the 1976 Kirk Lawnwood High School Marching Band, City in a Symphony, Stellar Volpine, 153.5-inch floppy disks. All of these sound hilarious, but they're probably all terrifying. So let's just get right on in there, shall we? It's safe. Special containment procedures. Considering recent incidents, 330 is to be kept in secure storage until further notice. Level 2 clearance is required for access to SCP-330 or its contents. All direct experimentation with 330 is to be conducted using disposable dudes with no genetic history of diabetes. I didn't know that diabetes had anything to do with it. Anyway, no more than 2 samples are to be removed from 330 at any time except during exposure testing. Now, what is it? 330 appears to be a small, round, stainless steel bowl filled with variable amount of individually wrapped pieces of candy. Taped to the side of the bowl is a handwritten note reading, "Take no more than 2, please." Attempts to remove the note have met with failure, as have attempts to hide or obscure it. Testers have noted finding it impossible to avoid reading the note, and those who approach it from an opposite angle are aware of this request. When a quantity of candy greater than 2 pieces is removed, regardless of the means involved, the offender instantly has both hands severed at the wrist by an unknown method. Tests involving remote manipulation by disposable dudes resulted in the operator's hands being removed, despite having no direct contact. Inspection of the incision reveals that the cut is made at a molecular level, leaving no tool marks or identifying factors. It is to be noted that the third piece must be removed within a certain time frame. After 24 hours, the count resets and additional candy can be removed. Discovered 3 days after Halloween of 2000-something, when a police investigation into what was believed to be a case of ritualistic dismemberment was launched. 330 was seized as evidence, but all attending officers were killed after Officer Blank emptied the bowl of its contents. Oh. The cause of death was a result of data expunged, probably blood loss, or explosion. You know, because if you take 3 out and it removes your hands, emptying the bowl would probably blow you up. So, Foundation agents under the guise of federal agents recovered the object with acceptable casualties. Okay. Addendum. Due to the continuing security issues, 330 will be held in Dr. Kontraki's office when not required for testing. Experiment. Researcher Vogt. Date something something 2000 something. Disposable Dude 330-01, a W amputee equipped with prosthetic forearms and hands, was told to remove 3 pieces of candy from the bowl. Subject complied with no immediate effects. However, within 45 seconds, subject reported a burning itch from both his arm stumps, right arm 2 cm below elbow, left arm 1.5 cm below elbow, and phantom pains from both his absent wrists. Subject's distress at this discomfort increased rapidly. Within 180 seconds of having removed the 3rd candy from the bowl, the subject began forcibly removing both of his own prosthesis. Upon hurling the prosthesis to the ground, subject reported that the discomfort had ceased. Dermatological examination of the subject's stumps revealed no unusual irritation or inflammation. Mechanical examination of the prosthesis revealed that, in addition to the physical damage sustained by being hurled to the ground, the prosthesis had data expunged. Subject was supplied with fresh prosthesis identical to the first pair, but reported feeling that it was wrong to put them on. Coercion was applied and subject reluctantly put on left prosthesis. Note, subject is right-handed. However, when told to put on the right one, subject began weeping incoherently and flailing his arms until the left prosthesis detached itself. Analysis of video footage revealed that the subject had not properly attached the left prosthesis to his stump. Mechanical examination of left prosthesis revealed only physical damage sustained from being thrown across the room. 24 hours later, subject was given the fresh ones and reported no difficulty in putting them on. Subject not terminated, as D-class amputees who are already used to their prosthesis are in short supply. Okay then. So then, Tumbles. Sounds festive. Is it an invisible dog? Or is it the collar? When not being used, 331 is to be kept within a typical electronic 7-digit metal safe in Dr. Somebody's office. The code is to be changed on a monthly basis by a doctor, probably the same person whose office it is. Personnel who wish to examine it must ask that doctor for authorization beforehand. As a blank blank blank, 331 is warned by 331-1. Oh, is this the invisible cat? Or, again, okay, saying it's the collar. 331 is a red plastic cat collar, approximately 23 centimeters in length. Metal studs surround the collar at intervals of 1 centimeter. Testing has confirmed the metal to be nickel. The bell consists of stainless steel electroplated with 24 karat gold. I know that word, but I've never seen it written down before. Ringing the bell has no distinguishable effect, adverse or otherwise. The word Tumbles has been painted on the back of the collar in yellow paint. Testing has confirmed there is nothing unusual about the paint. 331 exhibits no abnormal tendencies when worn by a living cat. When 331 is fastened around the neck of a deceased cat, hereafter 331-1, one is resurrected with no initial adverse effects. The collar does not halt the decomposition process, however. Fur and skin still rot at a regular pace. Organs are unaffected by the decomposition process. Testing has yet to determine the exact cause for this. One shows no signs of distress during the decomposition process. One can be killed by conventional methods, whereupon it remains deceased. The separation of 331 and 1 data expunged, unless 331 is deceased. It should be noted that 1 always answers to Tumbles and has an amiable personality despite what it was called or how it behaved pre-mortem. 331 was discovered when reports reached Agent Blank of a zombie cat witnessed around Blank Park in Blank Blank. Agent Blank immediately alerted the Foundation of a possible outbreak of 008. Mobile Task Force Blank was dispatched and neutralized 1, whereupon it was transported to Site Blank after no trace of 8 was detected. Upon arrival, research was conducted on 331 that confirmed its properties. Okay, so that didn't sound as horrifying as it probably could have. This, on the other hand, the 1976 Kirk Longwood High School Marching Band. There's no telling what this is going to be. It's... Well, it used to be Euclid. So then, Observation Station 55B has been constructed to monitor and study SCP-332. Fences designed to contain SCP-332's previously stationary effect have been demolished and replaced by a research station dedicated to observing 332 in its dormant state. Foundation agents... Do you mind, ambulance? Do you mind? I'm trying to read seriously here. Thank you. Foundation agents have been deployed to major population centers and tourist destinations to identify and respond to 332 manifestations. In the event that local Foundation agents are unable to enact containment, the nearest available mobile task force will be deployed. When SCP-332 enters its active state, all site personnel are to monitor the length and intensity of the sound produced by 332 from soundproofed observation areas until the active state ceases. Any affected civilians are to be detained indefinitely under the cover of an infectious disease outbreak. SCP-1833 has been placed under constant observation in case of any alterations. Description: SCP-332 is the class of 1976 Kirk Longwood High School Marching Band, previously located in the town of Redacted. The band is composed of 30 humanoids known as SCP-332-1 through 30. All 30 instances of 332 wear 1976 band uniforms and play instruments manufactured before 1976. The words Syncope Symphony have been engraved into each instrument. Individuals within SCP-332 do not display normal human behavior and will stand at attention in the center of the former Kirk Longwood High School football field, their last manifestation location when not in an active state. Occasionally, individual instances of 332 have been known to suddenly begin struggling with an unseen force before returning to their normal stance. The reason for this behavior is unknown. No instance of 332 has ever attempted to communicate with Foundation personnel. Instances of 332 do not appear to feel hunger, pain, or suffer from exposure to the elements, and would observe to stand in the same location for over 30 years. Once every 48 hours, 332 will enter an active state. All instances will disappear and instantaneously reappear at another human population center. 332 appears to favor major tourist attractions and event facilities which frequently host marching bands. 332 will also emit sound if any person enters the area of exclusion, or if a noise between 15 and 80,000 Hz is made within this zone. While active, 332 will continuously march around the perimeter of the area it has appeared in for a period of between 15 to 45 minutes. Following this, 332 will turn to face the largest nearby concentration of human subjects and play a music piece. Pieces played by 332 vary, but it primarily consists of marching band arrangements of popular songs from 1967 to 1976. Sounds produced by 332 have a consistent volume throughout the active zone, with the sound fading abruptly outside of that zone. If a subject is able to hear the music played by 332, they will attempt to obtain any instrument near them and join 332 in playing. Subjects affected in this manner, hereafter known as 332B, will report high amounts of anxiety if unable to obtain a musical instrument within 10 minutes of coming under 332's effect. If they are unable to join 332 within 10 minutes, they will walk with the band and begin miming an instrument as they march with the band, and will attempt to replicate the sound being produced by 332 with their voice. Instances of B who join with 332 will march and play until they pass out from exhaustion or hunger, at which point they will be trampled by other instances of B and 332. For every 10 B instances who join 332, the area of effect increases by 300 meters. This radius of effect will expand until all instances of B are terminated or incapacitated, at which point 332's active state will immediately cease. 332 was contained following Incident 332A, the incident during which 332 was initially activated. Between the point from when it activated to being disabled by Foundation agents, Incident 332A resulted in the deaths of 40% of Kirklandwood High School staff and students. The school was closed down under the pretense of fire damage, with the students, locals, and survivors being issued Class B amnesiacs. Successful containment for 332 was achieved July 19th of 1976 with a classification of Euclid. Transcript of Incident 332A. During initial cleanup operations following 332's containment, a 16mm camera was discovered outside what would have been the first-story window of Kirklandwood High School. The transcript of this video, although highly corrupted, is the only record of Incident 332A. The camera has pointed out a large window believed to be in the school's front office. Several members of 332 can be seen preparing their instruments on the field. There is no sound. The camera swings towards unidentified woman number 1. It is believed that the cameraman is speaking to her, although no sound can be heard. One of 332's clarinet players can be seen walking by in the background. Section of tape is damaged, no identifiable content present. Picture and sound briefly become clear, and a voice believed to belong to unidentified woman 1 remarks about one band member's outfit having an unusual attribute, although what was unusual about it is not heard. Static. Sound and picture return with greatly improved quality, with the cameraman chatting with unidentified woman number 1. Unidentified woman number 2 was heard off screen at 7:09, referencing a band equipment supplier known as Symphony, and remarking that she was unable to find it with the information that was provided to her. Unidentified man number 1, also in the background, claims that he will investigate it at a later date. Sound cuts out again. Cameras pointed out to the field as 332 begins to perform. At the 11-minute mark, several persons in the audience begin to exhibit signs of distress. At the 11-minute and 30-second mark, the camera is violently jerked away from the floor and dropped. Several persons, including the cameraman and unidentified woman number 2, are seen to move around the office in a state of distress. At 11 minutes 45 seconds, 332 enters an active state. An identified woman number 1 is seen to exit the office to go outside at the 16-minute mark. Static. The camera is picked up and pans around the room. Several deceased persons are visible in frame, including the original cameraman. The camera is briefly pointed out the window where 332 can be seen playing. The tape ends at the 19-minute mark. Addendum. On November the 2nd, 2016, 332 suddenly vanished from its containment area. At the same time, a major anomalous incident was noted to be in progress at a sports facility in South Florida. 332 was thought to be recontained following this incident, however, every 48 hours it has reappeared in a new location. The Foundation is currently assessing the situation and any additional assets which can be allocated to continue containment, which leads to SCP-001-KLN. We've read this before, but it was contained by the existence of 2798. Based upon the cessation of 2798, emergency containment procedure measures are in effect. I had to have read this before because I read all of SCP-1. It took like 13 episodes just to read all of SCP-1, and I still missed some of it. So, just going to assume I've read this before, we're not going to do it again. Next up is City in a Symphony. Irony. 333. 3 is a magic number and it's my favorite number, so reaching SCP-333 is a cool feeling. Maybe someday we'll reach 3333. And maybe someday there will be a 33333, and then I will never get there. Anyway, SCP-333-A, 1 through 1618, unless that's just 1-1618, are to be stored in a standard level security containment locker within Site Blank, accessible only by personnel possessing level 3 clearance or greater, with authorization of at least 2 clearance level 4 personnel. As testing with 333-B and C has concluded, any performance of A is strictly prohibited. A are 1,618 identical copies of a musical score of unknown title and origin. When the score denoted by A is performed by an orchestra of sufficient size, the Addendum 333-1, B manifests. The chamber A is performed in may be entered normally, however, roughly 3 minutes into a performance, anything leaving the chamber arrives in B. Re-entry of the performance hall from B is possible, given it is temporarily integrated into B. B appears to be a metropolitan area, devoid of any signs of habitation past or present. Due to its nature, it is unknown when B was constructed, using what materials, by whom, or even if it was constructed in the conventional sense at all. See Addendum 4. For as long as performance of A continues, B may be traversed, it used to say, freely. Preliminary testing concerning utilizing B as a multi-purpose Foundation facility appears promising. Addendum 5. Now it says, see Addendum 6 and 9. Following cessation of a performance, B dematerializes, along with anything within at the time. See Addendum 2. Instrumentation left within suggests that unless a performance of A is occurring, B experiences no passage of time and may not exist at all. C is a highly aggressive entity of variable appearance and composition residing within B. All manifestations of C have proven much more durable than its composition would suggest, requiring considerable firepower to terminate outside of B and possessing apparent invincibility while within. See Addendum 8. Man, there's a lot of addendums to this thing. Should C manage to escape B, it will remain until the next time B manifests unless terminated. Following termination, C will dematerialize as well. So, Addendum 1. B will not fully manifest unless A is performed by a minimum of 49 musicians within a single concert hall. Larger numbers of musicians appear to correlate to a larger and more complex metropolitan area. Additionally, simultaneous performances in differing locales result in integration of all concert halls within which A is being performed. B could hypothetically serve as a means of rapid transit between Foundation facilities. Addendum 2. The content of all 1,618 original instances of A have been observed to change following each performance. All remain identical to each other. Copies of A do not display this polymorphic nature. Addendum 3, which is 4 3s, 3333. Changes undergone by A appear to constitute the inclusion of motifs representing any foreign materials left behind by exploration teams. Given that copies of original A do not update to reflect material within B, it may be possible to selectively manifest materials or possibly even personnel within B. A more in-depth cost-benefit analysis will follow. 4. Visual, chemical, and mass spectrometric examination of structures within B indicates their composition is directly dependent upon the composition of instrumentation utilized for the corresponding performance of A. Additionally, it appears that the better a particular instrument is played, the less its composition is reflected within B. Given that structures within B may not have a finite composition, I think I missed something, are always of similar composition to the instruments utilized, it has been suggested that these structures may not have a finite composition. However, considering errors cause the composition of a particular instrument to feature more prominently, it is also possible that corruption of B is unavoidable due to the general inability to perform A precisely enough. Experiment logs A and B 1 through 9 are pending declassification. So, Addendum 5, Cost-Benefit Analysis regarding 333's Foundation asset. Here's what it used to say. Rapid long-distance travel. If used for transit between facilities, B could allow for rapid dissemination of SCP objects in the event of a containment breach. This risk should not be taken lightly. Cloning of personnel, items, SCP objects, etc. effectively granted the Foundation access to infinite resources. A contingency plan in case of blank or blank class events. A garrison and armory. The song itself could be utilized at several different Foundation facilities simultaneously. Performances of identical copies of A could take place in several locations, allowing access to the prospective facility from several places. The risk of accidental discovery of A should be carefully considered before any utilization of B for this purposes. Consult Addendum 9. Addendum 6. C is capable of leaving B. Any sighting of C within B is grounds for immediate evacuation and cessation of A performance. Composition of C appears linked to musical instruments utilized in similar fashion to B. Closer scrutiny of footage recorded during experiments A to B 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 have found C present, appearing to be a similar composition to each corresponding instance of B, making it difficult to distinguish from its surroundings. This likely explains why its presence initially went unnoticed. So that sounds like if someone's just playing a tuba, then the monster's made of a tuba. Not made of a tuba, made of brass, or whatever the hell tubas are made of. Addendum 6. Okay, no, we already read that. And 7. 8. Operation Blank unsuccessful. Operational losses exceed 90%. A 5 megaton tactical nuclear device was detonated within B in a last-ditch attempt to prevent C escaping. C was undeterred. Dang. Addendum 9. Corruption of materials left within B has been noted. This corruption generally takes the form of minuscule changes in chemical composition of objects left within, though in extreme cases physical deformation has been observed. Notable examples include malfunctioning of ROV-13B due to critical circuitry being replaced by redacted, and the discovery of disposable dude skeletal system being composed of 0.1% brass by weight. I hereby rescind my prior recommendation for utilization of 333. Addendum 10. Computer-aided analysis of A and all copies thereof considered alongside the events of A and B 1 through 9 in Operation Blank indicates beyond a shadow of a doubt that A dictates any and all occurrences within B, including activity of Foundation personnel and C. All further testing of 333 is hereby suspended indefinitely. Okay, so that sounds like, however well they play the song depends on what the Foundation can actually do in B. Huh. So the two musical things have been really messed up, and the other two things have been okay. Let's check out that stellar fox. Or Vulpine, I must... Okay. So, 334 is to be kept in a standard heat-treated containment cell, surrounded by magnetic field generators, positioned so that all 6 sides have an overlapping field projecting at least 15 centimeters from the inner cell walls. Each generator is to have multiple redundant backups and power sources, including emergency batteries capable of maintaining full magnetic field output for no less than 30 minutes. Maintenance of the anti-heat coating is to be carried on a weekly schedule, with subject to be transferred to a secondary cell to allow for more extensive repairs, if needed. 3 live mice, as opposed to 3 blind mice, are to be introduced to its cell at a random time every day to reduce chances of subject learning the pattern and attempting escape. Yeah. Due to 334's hunting and burrowing instincts, the floor of the containment is to be reinforced with an anti-heat coating or made of a substance with a melting point of greater than blank degrees Celsius. Looks like it's in the thousands. With the magnetic containment field underneath reinforced approximately 1.5 times that of the other surfaces. Subject hunts in a fashion typical of foxes, with a strong downward pounce which has proven capable of penetrating a small distance into the containment fields and has been the cause of blank containment breaches to date. So, 334 is a small cloud of superheated plasma in the shape of a specimen most closely resembling Vulpes vulpes. Seriously? The name for foxes is legit Vulpes vulpes? You gotta be kidding me. Hold on. You've got to be fucking kidding me. The scientific name for red fox is straight up just fox. Wow. Arctic fox, Bengal fox, Blandford fox, Cape fox, Corsac fox, Fennec fox, Kit fox, Pale fox, Rupel's fox, Red fox, Swift fox, Tibetan sand fox. So foxes are just called fox. All of them. The scientific name for all of them is just fox. God damn it, fox. Okay, so its body appears similar to waves of steam or fire, revealing gaps between the filaments of gas through which the opposite side is visible. as filaments fluoresce in the spectrum of red and orange with eyes in the blue spectrum. Subject has a negligible measurable mass and has no central body to speak of. 334 apparently believes it is actually a red fox and displays several normal Vulpine behaviors such as hunting of prey, and in test 334F03 redacted. Whether it is an entity that imprinted on a Vulpine or is a Vulpine which was transformed to its current state is unknown and under investigation. Boop. Boop. Since it is composed of superheated ionized gas, containment of 334 is effectively impossible without the use of magnetic containment fields, and is difficult even then, as the heat and energetic effects extend an average of 7 centimeters around its entire body, rapidly sublimating physical obstructions. Although its surface temperature is in excess of something thousand degrees Celsius, the heat disperses rapidly, cooling to blank degrees Celsius within 10 centimeters, far faster than the laws of thermodynamics would indicate. There's evidence that 334 is capable of controlling its heat output. Subject is capable of bursts of speed measured at approximately 160 km per hour for around 10 seconds. These bursts of speed disperse the subject's mass, tiring it out, making it need to rest while it reforms. The subject derives nourishment from converting matter into plasma and absorbing it, taking in a small amount of energy normally through conversion of air into ionized gas, but that alone is insufficient to feed it, making supplementary feeding necessary. Despite the fact that it does not touch the ground when it walks and is immune to the pull of Earth's gravity, it seems content to follow the floor surface for walkable areas and has yet to be seen actually flying. Whether it chooses not to or simply does not know that it can is unknown at this time. Due to its physical makeup, 334 constantly emits a level of EM radiation consistent with a class blank solar flare, causing interference in unshielded electronics within blank meters and making film or electronic surveillance problematic. Radiation is within tolerable limits for SCP personnel. Initial containment. 334 was recovered blank kilometers from redacted, blank kilometers from a projected meteor impact site. Whether this was the subject's origin is still under investigation. The Foundation was alerted to the subject's existence when a routine sweep of emergency services reports found a pattern of strange burns, trails, and redacted discovered in the woods, matching no publicly known source but consistent with data expunged. A full Foundation combat team was sent in to contain the suspected redacted, but found 334 instead, a far lesser threat. Utilizing a magnetic containment bottle and 2 live mice, subject was contained with an acceptable level of casualties. Which sounds like people definitely did still die trying, but it was an okay amount. Addendum. 334 has a talent for escape, having escaped containment no fewer than blank times since initial retrieval, causing approximately redacted dollars in structural damage to Site Blank and the deaths of blank personnel, mostly caused by the aforementioned structural damage. 334 is wary of people, avoiding human contact if possible, yet prefers hiding in offices, barracks, and on-site quarters, where there is relatively little traffic and an abundance of small spaces. Despite its many escape attempts, 334 has shown neither an obvious inclination towards leaving Site Blank nor towards unprovoked attack and is not considered a direct threat. However, the structural damage caused had the potential to release SCP Blank, SCP Blank, and SCP Blank on blank separate occasions, and recapture should be considered a priority. So, here's a testing log. Results matching expectations removed, available upon request. So, it's just... Okay, so, test subject, a selection of small prey animals ranging from mice to medium-sized rabbits. Subject stalked each one for varying lengths of time, apparently biding its time before pouncing. Each test subject sublimated into plasma, which was absorbed by 334 through the mouth as it went through the motions of eating. Displayed high levels of apprehension to a normal red fox, with loud barking and growling. Oh, that's what the normal fox did. 334 appeared disinterested. Test halted after blank minutes of no appreciable change in either's reaction. A normal female fox, identical to 334 F1. A red female fox in heat. 334 appeared to sniff the air for a moment while test subject displayed reactions similar to previous 2 tests, then data expunged. Researcher note, that was something I hope to never see again. SCP-334 test subject. For this test, 334's cell was flooded with ionized gas identical to its own. 334 appeared curious at first, then agitated as the pressure of ionized gas in the chamber started to rise. After 5 minutes, subject began glowing brightly and data expunged. Containment was re-established, with 334 apparently exhausted. Test subject 334. For this test, 334 was subjected to a focused magnetic blade to attempt to sever a section of its mass. Results data expunged. Further experimentation with force feeding or cutting 334 is forbidden unless performed in a heavily shielded remote site. Test subject disposable dudes 334 and 3 live mice. Disposable dude was instructed to enter containment and feed 334 after 1 day of withholding food from the subject. 334 immediately left the cage, incinerating it and the contents, as well as much of the disposable dude's arm and torso. They died instantly, while 334 ignored the body, focusing on the converted mice in cage. Researchers note, well, it certainly thinks it's a fox and doesn't seem to notice or care that it can kill people just by getting too close. Test subject 334. The test was performed to determine 334's environmental needs, if any. Containment was made airtight, internal atmosphere removed so that it showed no change from normal behavior patterns. Containment was then heated to an excess of 500 degrees Celsius, so that it showed no change. Then cooled to approximately -100, once again, no change. Containment slowly pumped full of atmospheric gases in various combinations to a maximum pressure of 3 atmospheres, so that it became more energetic, consistent with behavior after being fed, and did not require supplemental feeding until the next day. Researcher note, it can survive in a vacuum or on the surface of Venus, and doesn't need supplemental food in high pressure. This and other data suggest it's expunged. Sounds about right. So, next up is 335, which is 150 3.5-inch floppy disks. So, which are safe, and be strong, Clarence, be strong for mother. So, 335 is to be kept in a secure location to prevent tampering. And it is a set of 150 floppy disks discovered in a cardboard box found in the attic of former Agent Blank shortly after her termination. I wonder why she was terminated. We'll probably never know. Each disc is individually numbered in handwritten permanent marker. Discs will be referred to by their numbers, 1, 2, etc. Each disc has been labeled with a human name in the same writing as the numbering. 118 are male names and 30 are female. There is some speculation as to whether 11 Jackie is meant to be male or female. The names have no identified pattern. That doesn't equal 150 though. That's 100 and something else. It's 149. Anyway, initial examinations suggested that all 150 disks were blank, as their capacity all read as 0 megabytes. Dr. Blank determined that the disks were ordinary and had them archived with the rest of former Agent Blank's possessions. It was not until Agent Blank suggested the unlikelihood of Agent Blank keeping a box of floppy disks in her attic among the other contraband that Dr. Blank agreed to have the disk examined again. It was determined that Dr. Blank's original floppy disk drive had been defective and a different computer was brought in. All 150 disks appear to have an infinite amount of storage space available. It is unknown whether the disk space is truly unlimited or simply too large to measure. Regardless, the space is effectively infinite. When one was inserted into Dr. Blank's computer, the contents of a large pornographic website were the first data found on the disk. Further investigation by Agent Blank showed that all the contents of one are of a pornographic nature. Note from Dr. Blank, I believe I know where all our bandwidth is going at night. Agent Blank's computer privileges should be limited until he finds either a girlfriend or learns some self-control. Further investigation revealed that 1 through 12 contain pornographic material. However, upon reviewing the entire contents of Wikipedia on 13, the actual nature of 335 was uncovered. The entirety of Wikipedia? Damn! Okay, so, 335 contains the entire contents of the internet stored within its infinite storage space. It appears to have some sort of... Wait. If all 150 disks are the entirety of the internet, that means that Disk 13 by itself is the entirety of Wikipedia, but it took the first 12 to get all of the porn. Damn. Anyway, it appears to have some sort of organizational system, with similar sites grouped together on the same disk. 335-7A showed that when content on the internet is changed, the content on the corresponding disk changes to match. Precisely how this occurs is unknown. It is uncertain what would happen if the content on the disk were changed, as all 150 disks seem to be locked in read-only format. Addendum: Agent Blank has proposed on numerous occasions that an experiment be conducted where a disk is destroyed. Dr. Blank, as well as Blank Blank, agree that this could potentially have disastrous effects on a large portion of the internet and could draw unwanted attention to the Foundation. Such an experiment is not to be attempted under any circumstances. The following is a list of all 150 names written on the disc in numerical order. No pattern has yet been identified in the names. Whee! Wait. The letter E in this name is written backwards, reasoning unknown. The name appears to be misspelled, unknown if this was intentional. Label is torn, no name remains except for the letter G. Note the lowercase first letter, reasons unknown. Russian name translates to Boris. Japanese name translates to Hajime. Notes from Dr. Blank, just some points of interest here. Discs 1 through 12 apparently contain all of the pornography on the internet. With all that there is, I can see why whoever made these got the porn out of the way first. Discs 85, 86, and 101 contain image hosting sites such as Image Shack and PhotoBucket. MySpace is also on Disc 85. Disc 30 appears to contain the Google homepage and nothing else. The rest of Google's website seems to be scattered all over the place. I've only found a few parts. Disc 119 has emoticons, millions and millions of emoticons, forums, instant messengers, and from other places. After looking long and hard, I found that Redacted can be found on Disc 76. I find it very disturbing that the disc has the same name as SCP-76. Which disc was that? Oh right, duh. 76 is also called Able. Notes from Agent Blank. 85 and 58 are the same name spelled differently. The name Ryan is used on both 32 and 33. 28 is named Heath, and that one actor that OD'd on pills, he died at age 28. Vladimir Lenin was born in 1870, and 70 is named Vladimir. The name on 150 is Japanese and roughly means beginning. I'm assuming that 120 is the Spanish name Jesus, and not the biblical guy, but I guess you never know. And I agree with Dr. Blank that it's pretty disturbing that 76 has the same name as SCP-76. Yeah, it's interesting. So, Lilith. On the one hand, it would make a lot of sense to stop right here and have Lilith be the... You know what? No, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to have Lilith and God happen on tomorrow's episode because Wednesday. So, this has been Anachi Sasuke. This is episode 82 of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe would be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.